Yeah, I was admiring him from afar. He's a great player. But I hear he's strained
It
his
sounds
neck.
sexual when he talks about scrummaging. I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's anything. Cooking, scrums. Max just makes everything sound sexy.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Rugby Pass Offload with me, Christina Mahan, and today I'm joined by Ryan Wilson, Max Laheath and Matt Stevens. How are you all?
Oh, it's going to be a scrum fest today. Can you imagine the chat we're about to have? People are going to be bored, front row nosing for the next hour.
The best kind of chat, where the real stuff happens.
Here we go. How are we, boys?
Yeah, very good.
Very well, thank you. Great to be here with you all, and good to see Max again. And yeah, excited about nosing out with you. I've been a bit on a rugby detox, so I might kind of get the rules wrong. But I'll do my best, and I've obviously been following the boys intensively over here. I actually took them some brownies to the team hotel the other day, the legal kind of brownie. Shame. And stood outside, and Max will know Bobby Strigen, the strength and conditioning coach. He's an insane little pocket rocket, and he was at the boom gate waiting for me to collect the brownies with a liter spray of disinfectant. And even though I put the box of brownies on the floor, he was spraying the air around. And I gave him the brownies, and he thanked me, and that's all that I've seen of them. But I was told that they were playing in. They were actually training in my holiday in the town we go on holiday to, and I was doing an interview with someone, and they were saying, they're literally 100 meters down the road training in Amarnis, and I was literally 100 meters away from them, and I had no idea that they were there.
So I'm assuming now you're bringing brownies down. So you're very much, do you still have your foot in the Lions camp then? That's who you're supporting?
Absolutely. You
Okay.
can't shift twice, Well, am I supposed to be kind of giving you the South African side of the story here? Okay.
I'm hoping to get a little bit of a South African perspective, but no, I'm glad you're Team Lions. We're all Team Lions here. But actually, just speaking of Lions chat, I just want to let everybody know that's listening in that on Thursday, the 29th of July at 6:30 p.m. in Harpton Rugby Club, Rugby Pass brings its fan zone live on the road with a special Lions edition ahead of the second test via South Africa. So join Jim Hamilton, Shane Williams, Stephen Ferris and Andy Good for an evening of entertainment ahead of the Lions second test. Tickets are available now on the Rugby Pass website. All right, guys, the first test goes to the Lions after a very tense game against the Springboks on Saturday. It was almost, I suppose, a carbon copy of the Springboks' previous two matches. So a dominant display and lead in the first half, and then a lack of discipline and energy costing them the second. So, guys, how nervous were you all in the first half?
Oh, it was a bit nerve-wracking, wasn't it? You saw them come out. They didn't look like they were doing too well, and like we thought the South Africans were going to come out all guns blazing, and they were. And then they made a massive mistake and chucked the other front row on, and that's pretty much all we're going to have to talk about today. What do you boys think?
Really, is that it?
That's it. I think that's all we need to talk about. I thought that's what you boys would be keen for.
No. I mean, bit of this. Lots of finger movement and exactly.
Boring in. That's what I just shout. He's boring in. He's dropping his elbow, dropping his bind ref.
Yeah,
I haven't got a clue what's going on.
I hate when noisy back rows have no idea what's going on, and they're just flying into the ref, left, right, and rhubarb, trying to get him to give the decision.
Yeah, pretty annoying. What were you boys like? Were you nervous?
I wasn't so much nervous because I was thinking that's sort of what we predicted when it last show. We were like, this is going to be a tough battle, especially in the first half, because everyone was talking about whether the Springboks had the 80-minute performance in them and who was going to make the tactical adjustments. But it was looking shaky. But I enjoyed the emotional investment from the lads. You could see it in all the collisions and stuff. And Curry was giving away a few silly pens, but you could see everyone was trying to climb into him. But it looked a little bit ropey at one point. But how good was that young Luced though, Ox?
Yes, strong.
Mate, he looks handy in the loose.
He's got a neck the size of his waist.
Yeah,
And that's useful as a loose head.
yeah. I was admiring him from afar. Great player. But he he's strained
He
his neck.
sounds sexual when he talks about scrummaging. I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's anything. Cooking, scrums. Max just makes everything sound sexy.
Yeah. Oh, it was class. Yeah, but I agree with you, Ryan, though. They should not have pulled off that front row, because I thought, even though Tyke Furlong got a couple of decisions, he was under pressure. Like, he was having to come across and do some kind of subtle mischievous scrummaging to get the ref on side.
What was interesting is that if we had spoken about this 3 months ago, you'd have said Malherbe and Kitshoff, and Marks are, right up there as the best front row at least scrummaging wise, best front row in the world.
You're right, yeah.
And obviously they come on, and I think hats off to the whole Lions scrum, because we're not talking about just the front row here. They've obviously been able to negate what South Africa have in power, and obviously working together for a while, having won a World Cup with that front row. They've obviously been able to negate it, and I think Sinclair was great. I mean, he didn't allow himself to be pinned, and Mako kept that, and we can get nerdy here, but he kept that left axis of his arm, which is so important in today's scrummaging, because it's all about keeping the strength of your arm up and the whole left-hand side of your body, so that, remember, scrummaging is all about conducting weight. It's not about the boring in and all of those things. Those are all important factors, but actually what happens is you need to be a perfect conductor of weight. And if you get the hit wrong and you shift your hips, or you don't have your bind in exactly the right place, you can't conduct as much weight as the other team. And so that's what essentially scrummaging is. And that's why people who know scrummaging and watch it are impressed by you can't believe how much strength and pain you have to go through to hold that axis. And that's what you're doing 20, 30 times a game. So it's like a brutal, mashing of your whole soul and spine. Yeah. Holding up. Just so the ball can go 3 inches under your feet.
Let's talk about Mako for a second first, because I think he fared far better in Saturday's test than he did against the Box in the World Cup final. So how has his game improved since 2019? I'll give it to the two nosy props.
Mako is easy to talk about. Sorry, Max. Mako is easy to talk about as one of the best loose forward playing props that I've ever played with. I played a lot with Mako. I mean, he was a sensation. I mean, when he got to Saracens, he was just a terrible lump of lard, and he managed to condition that into something that still looks like a terrible lump of lard, but is absolutely he's got an engine on him for days. He's got ball skills like any of the backline players that are playing for in international rugby. Not like he's good for a prop. He's just good. He's got a step on him. He's got nuance in the way he plays. He knows where to be. So he's a great, super player. I don't think there was anything wrong with his loose game. I think in that World Cup final, we all knew that if you didn't have parity against the Springboks, they would be able to get into their game and play that abrasive game, that line speed chase, have a good kicking game or front foot ball, take good aerial ball in the air, and just slowly break people down, and then come back and play off the scraps, which, that's what they did to us in the 2007 World Cup final. It's the same team. There's no changes. But in that game, the Beast and Malherbe were, so on top of their game. They completely pinned, they didn't pin Sinclair he just went. He got taken out really early on. I think that was a big changing point, because I think mentally, Carl was ready for that game, and the guy coming off the bench was ready to come on in the second half. Like, you come onto a World Cup final 10 minutes into it, it's a scary place to be, and then you're at tight head, which is just the most pressure you can have. So that's what happened, right? Like, he got absolutely like thrown into something that he wasn't ready for right then, and shame. Carl got, that it was devastating. I was devastated for him. So I think that the tighter that came on, and my old friend Dan Cole came on and got pinned. He got pinned, and Mako was lifted. So I don't think Mako actually had the worst performance. I think he was put under pressure. He was put under pressure because the right hand side of the scrum tilted and accessed, so that he got lifted up through the left hand shoulder, and then he was pinned all game long, and couldn't come out of that. And that feel confidence, like running around the park and being able to chuck the ball around like he does, and hit rucks and get over the ball, and be part of that kind of running rugby that he's so good at. He wasn't able to do that in that game, whereas he comes on in the second half against the Springboks, and he's got confidence straight away. Malherbe's heavy, but he gets his axis up. Sinclair's doing his job against the hooker and the tight head and the loose head, and Mako's able to come back and win that scrum, which was, couldn't have done anything for the Springboks' confidence when they're trying to get on the front foot to like get that last score.
How have the South African media reacted to the loss of the weekend?
The South African press are often quite cutting of the decisions the coaches make on the pitch, but invariably they get behind their team a lot more than the British press do. So you've also got like a culture here of they're coming into our land, and this is the sport that unites everyone. So in general, they're not going to pick on the players. They'll pick on the coaches, and Rassie is essentially a god here. So I think they're in general very positive about what's going to happen this weekend, but aren't saying it.
Like, so final score aside, do you think that the Springboks were the better team on the day?
It was first half, second half, wasn't it? It's like complete.
It's a game of two halves.
Massively. I couldn't believe how different they were as well, and how much it swung. I know that a lot of people will say, the Lions came out and South Africans haven't had a lot of time to play, so they died off with their fitness. The Lions have been really strong. I mean, I don't think they've had a point per pass them or try per pass them in the last 20 minutes of any of their games over this whole series, over this whole tour. So they are stronger. They're going to be stronger towards the last 20 minutes. But I think tactically wise, Warren Gatland and the boys, Gregor Townsend would have been in there looking at absolutely everything in terms of what they could do in attack. They changed it a little bit, and they got the tactics right in the second half, and they made a few good changes there.
Do you think they changed? Do you think they changed anything, or they just doubled down on what they were doing and were more consistent and clear about what they were doing? They weren't mixing it. I think they went into that first half and got blown away a little bit by the ferocity of the Springbok attack, and then came into that second half and they were told, like, just do the same, go back and do the same thing, but just do it better.
And also minus trying to go wide, because every time Elliot Daly got the ball, that Am would absolutely melt him. So they're probably going, listen, don't waste your time. Kick it, put the ball back on them. We'll bring Conor Murray on, who's the expert in box kicks. That's all he does. Yes. And we'll just get big Duhan van der Merwe to chase after it like an absolute nutter.
Yes.
And that's what they did. And that's where I think they got the tactics right in the second half. And like you said, it's probably more, stick with what we're doing and put a bit more focus on it.
Because I think that other stuff was just guys being flustered. And those Those long passes were like dribbling out the back, and it looked. I mean, that first half, that for me, just that looked kind of schoolboy to me. I didn't understand it, but maybe it's because they were being hit so hard. Like, what do we do here? And then they just realized they just needed to do the boring things right to get to get into their half, and let them make a few mistakes, and then you saw, we got some quality halfbacks.
Matt, do you think that it was a pre-prepared move to take off the front three at halftime? Like, they were dominating so much. So do you not think that they maybe should have allowed them to stay on for longer? Because they really did fall apart then after that.
I thought it was a bizarre decision. I didn't understand it. I think maybe because maybe Rassie was like going, okay, we've got this. Not Rassie Nienaber, but probably Rassie, saying we've got this, and maybe we need to give our big boys a full half before the second test match. If that is the case, wow, that is thinking way too far ahead. But Rassie's a much better coach than any of us. So I don't know.
Have you ever, Max, you ever had that? You ever been told, just 40, mate, that's all we need from you? Have you ever been told that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Pat Lamb's a big advocate for that, especially with yeah. He'll tell you, just run to your dead for 40. You're coming off at half time. This guy goes on. I'm not sure if he would do it if we didn't have the depth we had at that position. Like, you got like Jonathan or Carl Sinclair and stuff. There's just but he can afford to with the players he's got. But Pat loves that. Just all part of the great design of his game.
Yeah, because sometimes, again, I think it's like coaches saying that to make you empty out and then leave you on for another 20 after that. Surely that happens. Coaches do that.
I've not seen him often not go against what he says he's going to do. In fact, I can't recall. Yeah.
That'd be tough if you were mentally preparing yourself to, like, so you're giving it your all for the first half, thinking you've been taken off, and then you're like, hang on a second, I don't have another 20 minutes. Or
no, definitely not. That would make me, I would bust my balls, and then 40 minutes, and you'd sit in the change room going, oh, let me stay on for a bit longer.
Let me play a little bit more. Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. You would never, I don't imagine that. Mate, you're going to stay on for an extra 20. Oh, what? You see, you're taking me off at 40?
Well, look, the match was decided by the Lions bench. So were you guys surprised by how badly the South African bench was stocked and then used?
No, I thought the front row obviously struggled. They came on early in the half time, and then but I think the bench they've got going forward looks a lot more venomous. Absolutely, like Van Staden, and that looks juicy. But I'm not sure if the bench was wholly responsible for the way the game was defined. I think ill discipline, like the penalty count, was the massive contributing factor, at least from where I watched. They had almost double the penalties that the Lions had. And then that was the back into the game for the Lions in the second half in a big way, I thought.
You want your bench to bring energy, don't you? You like that, and that's probably what the Lions did. And again, we talk about who they brought on. Like Vunipola, when he came on, was outstanding. We spoke about him a few weeks ago, Max. Yeah. In that game, he was the only one that could actually tackle Colby, which isn't right. So these guys came on and added a little bit of energy as well, didn't they? And then, like I said about Conor Murray and players like that, Farrell coming on and kicking his goals when needed. Yeah. Your bench have to come on and do a job, and the Lions did that. So I'd say probably wasn't the South African bench playing really badly, but the Lions bench did really well when they came on and probably won that battle.
Were you not a bit shocked, though, to see the likes of like de Klerk, Pollard and Leroux all come off for the final, 5 minutes, when there was still so much, hanging in the balance?
Yeah, I think it's a great point. It goes back to the decisions they made in the second half in general. I've never seen it that happen in a test match of this magnitude, where it's almost like you're playing a preseason game and you're giving other players time. And maybe because the preparation with the Springboks has been so dismal. I mean, the Lions preparation hasn't been great, but you look at the Springboks, they've literally had no domestic tournament, and have 14 of their guys have had COVID, and they've been sat in hotel rooms in a bubble. It's almost like, we're not going to win it this game in the second half, but we're going to win it we're going to win it through in the next games. I'm sure that wasn't the case, but that's almost what it looked like.
Because Pollard was kicking pretty well off the tee as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Did he miss a couple? But yeah, you want someone like that for Jantis to come on, I think it was, and you want to keep someone on that's tight. I can't remember if he missed many kicks or not, but there's a few weird ones.
Yeah.
What's that, Max?
I just feel like that's the only real weak spot for South Africa, isn't it? That depth, the depth in the back. It's like the forwards are loaded. Like there's just so many killers for them. But in those like pivotal roles, maybe not scrum half, actually, they've got a lot of talent there. But there's a few spots where you're like, oh my God, you can't replace Delande. You can't replace
talent, but not huge experience, right? At scrum half, you got like unreal talent. You got but in terms of who they had playing, Faf is unbelievably experienced, but then it kind of drops down a bit, right? And then you're in that.
Yeah, with
But speaking of talent, Maro Itoje was unplayable at times, as was Courtney Laws. So out of 10, how impressed were you guys by the both of them?
I thought both of them were incredible. And they were playing against, Maro, his matchup against Eben Etzebeth, who's another great, like similar to Maro, but just outplayed him. And Courtney Laws, the tackles he's making at this stage in his career, all around the park, like ankle level. The guy's 2 meters tall and he's tackling people around their ankles. And when we say take someone around their ankles, he's literally scraping boot. It's just, he's just someone to watch. If you ever want to learn how to tackle that guy, just how he gets from up there down to that level so quickly, and he's just abrasive, and he's just such a talent in the line out. And the Itoje, again, another tall guy who can get over the ball like that, and just is constantly doing it with this huge engine. And he's also understanding where to be. Now he's got that kind of old head on him, so he's got this ability to sneak out those rucks. That Richie McCaw-esque, he's getting away with it now, which is difficult now for everyone else, because he's such a supreme athlete. So yeah, I think those 2 very good points, and well done for leading the props around the various other players on the field. But yeah, Itoje and Laws, incredible game.
I want to ask another question about Maro. So Matt, what was he like at Saracens? When you were there, did you know that he was going to rise up to be this star, or?
No, he wouldn't say boo to anyone. Very polite, quite posh, educated guy coming into kind of a group of very experienced, quite loud. I was there, quite brash. And he got on with it, and he made it his own. I played with him probably his first year that he started to actually regularly play in the Saracens first team, and he was from that point. But it took. He was skinny, lanky, didn't look like much when he got to the club, and then he just, filled out completely, so and then with that came his game sense, his ability to be a good team man, talk well, and brought all of that with him. That's what I think makes guys like Max is a character. He's got something about him. Mara is the same. He's got something about him. When you have those characters in a team, the sum is bigger than the whole, of all the parts of those cultures and characters and how they all blend together. And it's been amazing to see his journey. And he's such a humble guy still. No one ever texts me back anymore, and he still does,
And he's got you and Petrus du Plessis to thank for showing him the ropes in the scrum.
Well, who knows, eh? Who knows?
It's not all about the front three. It's about the back five nowadays.
No, agreed. I agree with you. I'm trying to think of the other locks so they don't get across if they ever hear this. But yeah, I think he had a good group of players around him that were able to mold him a little bit before he started to mold everything about himself. I had a lot to do with Maro Itoje's meteoric rise in rugby. And that's a quote.
Yeah, that's
the headline. Well, speaking of headlines, Rassie has been back on Twitter sharing a clip of the match saying that Colby was played in the air by Ali Price and then assaulted back to his feet by Mako. Are you guys fans of Rassie's unapologetic baiting? Ryan, you are not happy, are you?
No, like, do you know what he's trying to do? He's trying to get all the attention on him, so it's off the team. Like you said, all the media, everyone in South Africa will be going at the coaches, and he's just trying to draw more of it. He's a smart man. Mind games the game. But, just get up, Colby. You've done nothing in the whole game, which is a shame because you want to see him run with the ball.
Everyone wants to see him dance.
Yeah. And then you finally, Price has done nothing wrong. He's lay there trying to milk it. He knows his foot's out. Pick him up, get on with the game. Good on you. I know, like, people say, "Oh, but the injuries." He wasn't injured. He wasn't hurt. And Mako knew that. Just picked him up. Get on with it, mate.
I think it's good gamesmanship from Rassie in these tournaments. And listen, Gats is like a supreme player of that game. So I think they're both probably like laugh about this at the end of the tour, having a beer. So.
Wait, on Twitter, has anyone seen Rassie Erasmus's burner account yet?
Jaco Johan.
He's
behind it, isn't he?
I really hope that is the case. That'd be amazing.
Well, sure.
I haven't seen it.
Have you not seen it?
This Egghead account has shared. I think he's only shared. Was it like he's tweeted? I think it's been active since like 2016, but he's never tweeted anything really. There's no profile picture, and then all of a sudden he's producing this like top quality video analysis stuff on Twitter that Rassie happens to pick up and retweet. I don't know.
Yeah, and the videos.
I think I did see that.
He tweeted about Cheslin being on the floor, and I was just like, "Oh my god, this is ridiculous." It could be the case. If that is, what a guy! What a guy!
But like so many levels.
Just so many levels. We're all on strings.
But that's what I mean. There has to be like an ulterior motive to that. He's not just putting that out there because he thinks it's dangerous, because it wasn't. No, absolutely not. Agreed. We're actually talking about it now, and he's done his job. Yeah, exactly. Although now anyone that's injured, you just get people going and picking them up. Get up. Get on with it. Why do that to players on my team?
I mean,
yeah, that's
exactly. True. The game is ruined. We're talking about VAR today, and now we're talking about people diving. But that is a problem.
Where do you guys stand on Rassie's role as water boy?
I think it's completely fine.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think it's a big issue.
No, I mean, most coaches are doing it across the board in domestic leagues. Football coaches do it. They stand on the side of the field. The fact is, he's a water boy and he's giving someone water. He's not the head coach. He's the director of rugby. So it's not. He can do what he wants. Can't he? Is there a rule against it?
The only thing I will say is director of rugby I see as above the head coach. Okay. So it would be, if thinking about it in a Scottish sense, like we've got like the chief exec of the SRU, Mark Dodson, running with water would be quite funny, but I don't know how much he has to do with rugby. But that'd be like, have you guys got a director of rugby down in Bristol, Max?
No. Pat,
have you got anyone above Pat Lamb?
No, absolutely not.
And Pat's always on the side of the pitch, right?
Yeah, he comes down at certain periods, yeah.
But is Rassie not kind of like director of rugby / still sort of the head coach, essentially pulling all the strings? Like,
I just know you get paid a lot of money to do what he's doing.
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, it looks ridiculous, but if you think about, it's probably the best place to be on the pitch if you can handle it, because you're getting guys in your ear telling you what's going on, and you can directly talk to players. That's why in international teams, and you don't pick the water boys in professional teams aren't just water boys. I mean, they're there to they're pretty much involved in all the tactics going on. I remember Alexander in the Saracens. He specifically played that role on the pitch because it was a better view for him to see what he wanted to see, but he was a water boy with a shirt on so he could run on.
Yeah, no, true. And sometimes what you get from I've ran water for Glasgow, and from what the head coach is screaming down into your ear, you're like, fuck, I can't say that to him. I can't tell him that.
Exactly.
Tell him he's getting pulled if he drops another bloody ball. You're like, no. Hey mate, you're doing really well. Just get out, keep going. You have to filter so much crap out from some of the stuff you get down when you're running water. So yeah, true. They can make some serious decisions. It's for the guys that aren't quite experienced enough that will literally take it word for word and give it to the players.
Say verbatim. Exactly.
But you not just be like, look, don't shoot the messenger, but, and then just literally,
No, because you could completely kill someone's confidence. Like when the scrum's going wrong or something, they're like, fuck, tell him if he messes up another one of those, or if he goes backward like again, he's off.
No, I've had that before, and I've turned around and told the box what for, that's the worst thing you can do to a player, because it's not like they're going, oh shit, I don't know what to do. Maybe the skinny ex fly half in the box can tell me how to get around Dan Cole's right arm here, because he knows so much about scrummaging.
Exactly. Or when a physio tells you something, you're like, shut up, just shut up.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Well, guys, look, the teams have been announced for Saturday. There has been 3 changes made for each side. Are you happy with the changes in the Lions starting 15? No, shaking her head, Ryan.
No way. Who am I angry about? Come on.
I don't know. Maybe Ali Price.
Yeah, Ali Price. Like, he played well. There must be some sort of tactic they're thinking here. Like, they kicked the level of the ball. They can obviously try and do the same again. But I thought Ali Price he didn't get that clean a ball. He dealt with the first test really well. He kicked really well. He had one kick that wasn't quite on the money, but the rest of them were spot on. And I feel like he's really hard done by not starting again.
I thought he played well. I thought the speed of the ball was great when he could get clean ball. He built the tempo of the game well. And yeah, I'd agree with you. But maybe the tactic is that bringing on someone like that, settling the game in the beginning, and then bringing on Ali in the end. Maybe it's like with the front rows and scrum off for scrum off. I don't know, but it is unfair. But I mean, these things happen, and I think we should trust that Gats he's got the strategy right before. He pulled. I mean, I remember when I was on the tour where he didn't pick a Driscoll. And look how that turned out. I'm not saying believe exactly what Gats is going to do completely, but I think I agree with you. Ali Price is hard done by to not make the test, but I think he's still on the bench, and he's gonna make an impact. And this game is a 20. Is the whole squad needs to be there to drive it through.
That's it. You do worry. I knew there would be changes because I know they've won, but if you don't make changes, then rest of the blokes that sat there like, well, they can't go on the piss, but they're kind of, right, we're probably not going to get a shot here. So it gives everyone else a little bit of hope. And like you said, I reckon, they're going to start the game the way they finished.
Which is what they need to do, because I don't think they'll come back from a deficit against the Springbok team that's going to play this weekend.
True, very true.
Matt, what do you reckon how much do you reckon there is between Tide, Furlong and Carr in terms of the whole package? Put them on the spot, gents.
You would go back to props somehow.
We really going back to props.
You weaved it in. You weaved it in.
No, because there's a change in the middle. We got Mako starting over Sutherland, which is deserved. He was very good when he came on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think bringing Sinclair on is the right.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. I think he'll do a job. and he's not had that full-on build-up that he's in this team. I know he's been playing really well. I don't know. You'd be best placed to answer that for me, because I'm not playing anymore and I haven't played against Tad Furlong at all. So what's your view? What's your view? I want to know your view.
I just think on form at this point, I think Sinclair's the more effective prop at the moment, but obviously Tig Furlong's got the crown of the great tight of the world at the moment.
Tig deserves to be there. As a scrum expert, I'm saying Tig.
Hold on, Christina.
What's a scrum? Yeah, no, I think he does.
Sink just looks tasty at the moment, but Furlong is Furlong. It's hard to when a tighter gets called the best in the world, it just when do they lose that thing?
Carl Heyman was the best in the world.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Heyman, the crown is yours, and then it was just like that forever.
Yes, no, I know, it's very
fascinating, isn't it? I'm like, where's this mythology come from? Who makes it? I want to see it. Yeah.
Max, you should write a book on rugby mythology. I feel like that would be really interesting.
Yes, absolutely.
But absolutely. No, I'm not disrespecting Carl Heyman's legacy, by the way. He was a killer.
Just quickly on that, Sinclair, I think, is on the bench because, again, he's someone that brings so much energy, carries the ball well, runs. I think
it's the same call. I think it's the right call. It's the Ali Price call as well. Whether or not I know it's the right call or not, I think with props it is.
Well, Matt, talk to us about you were on 2 Lions tours in 2005 and 2013. So can you tell us what the main differences were between the 2 tours for you?
Oh, wow. Well, the one in 2005 was an incredible experience for me. It basically brought me on as a rugby player. But it was the book written about it is The Toughest Test, and going to New Zealand and getting hammered in all 3 tests quite conclusively. And playing in New Zealand over 2.5 months with Alistair Campbell, the spin doctor, and Clive Woodward with way too big what was perceived as way too big a press group, and a backup squad, and everyone had their own rooms. It kind of was the turning point to bring the Lions back to a more amateur-esque era, So for me, I was like bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, getting to hang out with Brian O'Driscoll and all the greats of that time, Jason Robinson, and I was a nobody. I really had just kind of broken into the England setup, and so for me, I was just a sponge, and it was incredible, and I loved it. And I was injured for part of it, but came back and played in all the midweek games, and really spurred me on for the rest of my England career, and gave me the confidence to be the player I became. But the next tour was a complete shift, because I'd actually retired from England rugby. And was coming back from Spain on a train back from Bath, and coming back from Spain, and then we were in Bath, and then I was on a train back from Bath to London, I think, to go in for a pre-season screening or something like that. And on comes the screen, and unbeknownst to me, Gats has been trying to get hold of me on the phone, and I'm on the phone with Gats on the Great Western service, and he phones. He says, "Matt, we think you're a great bloke." It's not why you pick people, but anyway, you're a great bloke. We'd love to have you on the tour. I'd had a good season, right? And you've had a good season, and you play both sides, and we think you'd be really good for this tour. And we want you to be a Lion. And I was like, are you serious? Who is this? And then on the screen pops up the selection.
Oh my God.
So I'm in this train with my like just all these people around me, and my wife and my kids and all of that. And then this on the screen pops up this whole it's a big rigmarole, right? There's like the whole selection thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty surreal, but obviously jumped at it and we had a fantastic tour, and we won the series and had a lot of fun. But wasn't capped on either tour. So obviously only good enough to be a scrub. What are we called again? What are they called? Oh yeah,
the binges.
The driftwood.
You're the most elite binges ever assembled if you're on that one, bro. The most elite. Oh.
Well, yeah, I've got skills.
That's why he must have started off with you're a good bloke.
We're not going to pick you. But you will play all the other games. You're going
awesome,
to be
man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a very cool story. Yeah. Matt, I suppose the 2005 tour was probably maybe the last wild amateur kind of tour before maybe social media took over. So can you tell us maybe what the best night out was that you had on that tour?
On the Aussie tour?
Yeah. Might want to put your headphones in for this one.
Yeah, Australia is weird.
No, I mean, we had some great nights out in Australia and New Zealand. Are you saying the last great Lions tour was the last great like amateur-esque Lions tour was in 2013?
No, I was saying 2005 because it was kind of like it was at that time where social media wasn't as big a thing, so you could get away with.
Not while I was there. No, 2013 was great. We had an unreal time. Like the fan base following us around. Remember that Mumford and of course you remember Mumford & Sons Little Lion Man.
Yeah.
So that had just come to like prominence in the charts, but obviously we started picking it up and playing it in the back of the bus and around, and obviously it teed in with everything we were doing, like the Lions and everything else. It became the unofficial anthem, and everywhere we went, you would hear the song, and the fans would all like key on to the song and be singing it, be walking through the streets. You'd walk into a bar, and all the fans were singing it, and all the boys were singing it as well. And I thought that was really special about the kind of the convergence of the amateur and professional era, was that fans and players were doing things together, you know, and that was what was really cool about the Lions for me, because there was no sense of, if I do this, someone's going to judge me or put me in put it on a phone, because there were phones back then, you know. I mean there was social media back then, Twitter and all of those things, but it was something that they were. It's almost like the Lions transcended that, you know, and it was like, we're all in this together, and the fans included. So we were, you know, the Aussie hotel in Brisbane had a constant contingent of about 300 fans in the lobby singing after games, and the boys will all come down and join them, like for the whole night, go for a drink. Yeah, Little Lion Man. It was awesome.
Honest river, you had at the start. That one.
Yes.
Yeah, nice. And that was 20. That was what, 2013? I
think so. Can't remember much.
Well, look. Then my next question is a question that we ask all our guests. So, out of the six clubs that you represented, who had the best initiation, and what was it?
England's was brutal, because everyone knew that I could sing a little bit, and they have this initiation where you have to come onto the bus, walk to the back of the bus, and you, on your first cap, you sing a song. But they wouldn't let me sing. They just booed from the moment I uttered the first word right through to the end. And they do that for everyone. But for me, it's very hurtful, because I really wanted to belt that number one. I'd been practicing.
Gutted.
So I just kept changing the song to like adapt to see if they'd stop booing. And obviously that just made it worse and worse and worse. So Yeah, that was the most brutal initiation. That was worse than at school where we got stripped and beaten.
Oh dear.
Oh, I love that. Why was it the worst? Just because I really, really wanted to sing. What were you trying to sing? What was
the song you practiced?
Oh, so many. I went through kind of every like Rat Pack song. And I got to like Silent Night in the end, it was.
Oh dear. Well, look, in the 2007 World Cup final, you played against your country of birth. So what was that experience like?
Yeah, incredible. I mean, the lead up to that game was epic. It was something that I'll never forget. It's probably the most incredible rugby experience apart from the Lions tours in my life. It was losing so badly to South Africa in the pool games and being able to come up through with the English press really kind of taking pieces out of us the whole way through. Something that was really quite difficult, but it really bonded the whole group together. We ended up building this camaraderie that took us from losing 36-0, beating Australia in the Velodrome in Marseille, the hosts of the tournament in Paris, in France, and then getting to play South Africa again. And all I wanted was revenge because I'd had my head kicked in. So there was no love lost going into that game. I was fully an Englishman and an English rugby player, although I have huge love for the land I live in, and I consider myself a South African, but when it comes to rugby, I consider myself an Englishman when it comes to sport in general. So remember, that was years and years of playing at Bath before I got there and playing in the England setup. So my decision had been made. There wasn't any question of my loyalty.
Did you get into some beef with Bakkies Boha that match?
Yeah, it's well publicized. His dinner plate sized hands came into connection with my eye socket, nose, mouth, and general face area.
Accidentally
over and over again throughout
gripping.
Yeah.
Did you get much stick from them? Other than that, were they giving you much stick?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. They're not great at the banter.
Like the Boostman. Hey, boy, I'm going to teach you, you English.
Oh man, I can imagine it. It must have been absolutely clandestine stuff. Just being molested by Bakkies. Oh, there's not a place you want to be, old boy.
Exactly. That was it. But I took my medicine, and then he did it all over again the next game.
Oh dear. Well, look, although not victorious, how did the squad mark the occasion in Paris on the night of the final? Surely there was a bit of celebrating.
It was epic. Yeah, we had a great, huge night out that lasted. It was then, drinking to commiserate and to celebrate what was something that was never expected by anyone. So for the loss was hard to take, but the journey was immense. And so we went down the Champs-Élysées, and I think it was VIP or the club going at that time. All the royals were with us. I think we had James Bond with us. It was fun. It was fun. I felt like who was there? Oh, that I still remember, because it was quite odd. The lead singer from a popular but not unbelievably popular British pop band, right? Was there, and he proceeded to have a conversation with me about how he really could understand William and Harry's like life, because he was in the public eye.
Who was? Do you know who it was?
No, that's it.
I can't remember. I think it was Keane. Was Keane? Do you remember Keane?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's not even that. Like, yeah, but I mean, and I was like, mate,
There's no real comparison there, is there?
it's like you I think you're like 3 on top of the pops.
Bloody hell.
Oh,
Were
that
they
must have
out?
been
Were
so...
the Royals out with you as well?
Yeah.
the two, as in the brothers, William and
Yeah.
Harry.
Me and Wills and Haz are best mates, man. No, I'm kidding. Wills and Haz. No, it was, and we, you know, with the bodyguards in tow and the whole experience that comes with that, it was a fun night.
That's interesting. Yeah. And does the royal protocol go out the window when you're on a night out with them?
Absolutely, they were really down to earth. Yeah, I've except when I had Harry in a headlock and I like felt like this red dot on my head.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, I say you have some stories. I do want to ask you about, so through your charitable work, you got to meet Nelson Mandela in 2006. So can you tell us how that came about?
Through the singing show, X Factor, that I was on, and I managed to raise some money. And then very luckily, he, you know, obviously I wanted to meet him and I got a chance, and they flew us out. Because I was still in the middle of season, but I was injured, and I got I drove, and this is crazy, right? I drove up to his house, and my dad was with me. Got out the car, and out of the house, Jay-Z and Beyonce walking out.
No way.
Yeah. Like. Yeah, warm them up for me.
What's up?
Did you say hi to them or anything, or did you just walk past them? Or
no, they said hi. They were nice, but not in passing. You know, wasn't like Hazard and Wills.
No headlocks for Jay-Z.
No, but he was amazing. It was amazing. It was a huge aura. Obviously, sat in the room with him. And held my hand for 15 minutes. Like I thought it was going to like be a meet and greet, you know, like hi. But I sat there in a couch next to him, chatted to my dad and I for it felt like 15 minutes.
Wow,
that's cool, man.
That's incredible. Max, I know we have to let you go now, don't we?
Yes, that would be.
And I also have to go. Is that not allowed?
No.
Thank you so much for coming on again, Max.
Matt, lovely chatting.
Thanks, Matt. Cheers, boy.
All right, bye, chat.
Cheers.
All
Thanks,
right.
Cheers, Matt.
Have a great
thank you
one.
so much for coming on.
Absolutely. Bye.
See you later, buddy.
Cheers, man. Bye.
Well, we haven't ran a competition in a while, and thanks to Canterbury, we have some official Lions Dash to give away. I know. So to be in a chance to win, all you have to do is share this week's episode on social media and tag RugbyPass along with the hashtag offload, and we'll pick a winner on next week's episode. That is it from us. Thanks to Ryan Wilson, Max Laheef, and Matt Stevens, and thanks to you for listening. More offloading next week. Make sure to subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a rating and review if you can, and don't forget to check us out on YouTube as well. Thanks, guys.
Goodbye. Bye, everyone. Bye. See you all. Thanks for coming.